How can a shoe this simple be this complicated? Seriously. I mean, are you looking at this and thinking, nah, that's a simple Air Force One? It's not. It's unbelievably complicated. It does look very simple. At first glance, I was kind of like, that's really simple. I'm not sure if I want to show that on my channel. But then I dug into it. It's like, that's interesting. My goodness, what a ton of interesting details. What a ton of interesting hits on this sneaker. It looks very simple, but what you've got in actual fact is a really complicated, really cool Nike Air Force One sketch pack. This is a Talk About a 23 sneaker channel. Talking About a 23 sneaker channel. This毎日アップするので毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, that's what we're looking at. Now, I totally don't know the answer to this question. Maybe you do. But has Nike bought the Sharpie line? Nobody's ever asked that question before, right? Am I the first? But have Nike bought the Sharpie line? I mean, these guys here that we're looking at today, surely they used a Sharpie to design them because of all that, all the features on there, the writing, the drawing, the detailing, all looks like it's been hand drawn on the sneaker. And then if you go back to the More Than an Athlete, now I'm going to throw up a link to the More Than an Athlete LeBron 17s, but you do not need to click on that link until the end of the video or later in the video. It's not like you click on it right now or it'll disappear. These links stay up there for the duration of the video and you can come back to them when you want to. So what I'll do is I'll put up a link to the LeBron 17 More Than an Athlete, because that came with, as you can see from the picture behind me here, it came with a Sharpie, and the swoosh on the side is drawn on with Sharpie, so it's not a smooth swoosh. It's kind of like a jagged, well, it's not jagged, but it's not quite a machine branded swoosh, and that tie up to the Sharpie there. But then last week we did the the Air Max 95 Black History Months, and they also came unbelievably with a lace shroud, which I'd never seen in Air Max 95s before, but they also came with this Sharpie right here. And here's a link. Doing. Again, you don't have to watch that link right now. You could check it out later if you're interested in those Black History Month Air Max 95s, but they came with a Sharpie, and the Sharpie was in the pack so that you could write on the lace shrouds and design them any way you want to. And then here we are with a sneaker that's pretty much Sharpie drawn. So have Nike gone and bought the Sharpie line? Is that something that they've brought into their stable of companies, and the conglomerate that Nike is now has Sharpie in there? I do not know. But what I do know is that this is a fire-looking sneaker, a great-looking sneaker. It's the second Air Force One that I've done in the last couple of weeks that I've been totally behind. A great looking sneaker, but I was so surprised about how many details there were on it because it does look so simple. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each and every one of those details from front to back, from top to bottom, from left to right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the lateral, and it's obvious from the very beginning that the lateral has that drawn on swoosh right in the middle of the white upper in that blue, popping blue colorway on there, and that drawn on swoosh and colored in swoosh that's totally hand drawn in appearance. I'm assuming they didn't hand draw every single one of them. I think they hand drew one, loaded that up to the computer and printed it on here, but it is definitely a hand drawn effect. And that hand drawn effect is also seen when you go down to the midsole, and on the back of the midsole you can see there it says midsole air unit in writing, and then drawn on it is what looks like an Air Max 90 perhaps, or an Air Max 1 perhaps, air unit. Even though Air Force Ones don't have the unit visible, you can see it drawn on the side there, and like I said, it says on the side midsole air unit. And then if we go up from there back up towards the middle of the sneaker, you can see that it says Nike Air Force One kind of running vertically through the midfoot section of the sneaker. So that's the lateral side. Three very distinct hand-drawn or Sharpie drawn elements to that side of the sneaker. But then if we go over to the medial side, you start off with a tiny little swoosh on there, and it's embroidered. Lord knows why they didn't go with a hand-drawn little swoosh in there. Maybe it's too small to draw, I don't know. But they went with an embroidered swoosh in that popping kind of university blue colour on the white background. And it is cool. It's a tiny little swoosh as well, which is cool. And I really kind of dig the way that looks. But you've also got right in there as well 1982, which was the debut year of the Air Force Ones on the quarter line of the sneaker. So paying respect to the kind of the origin of the sneaker and the history of the sneaker with the 1981 on there. And then towards the middle of the sneaker, it says, again, it's in that vertical writing, it says something like variable width lacing system. And I kind of think that's interesting because it's an echo of the Jordan line as well, especially Air Jordan 1s, that the lace stays are not like if you think of foam posits, for example, foam posits is a uniform kind of straight line lace system, but the lace system in Air Force Ones and Air Jordan 1s, it's kind of got this unsmooth, not straight line effect, but kind of an undulating effect on there. And I just always thought that was an element of design, but when you think about it, it says right here, like variable width lacing system. Maybe that's something to do with the way the laces hug your foot, or they don't get loose over time and things like that. So it's cool to see that writing there and that nod towards what the purpose is of that variable width lacing system on there, which is kind of cool if you ask me. Now, if we go up onto the tongue branding is kind of interesting on these guys because the tongue branding and the insole branding match each other, but they're opposite colors. So on the tongue, you've got blue branding on a white tongue, and on the insole, you've got white branding on a blue insole, but they both have that Sharpie drawn effect or that hand drawn effect. So even though the actual detailing of the branding is the same, the colors are in opposition. They oppose each other, white on blue versus blue on white, which is a pretty cool feature of the sneaker. And then the final thing to look at is on the back of these guys, where it isn't a hand-drawn Nike in all caps. It appears to be almost a stenciled on, and there's a deliberate bit of fading to show that the stenciling didn't work perfectly, and it gives that kind of rugged look or that hand-drawn look, or one of my least favorite words of the last 2 years, that bespoke look. I don't like the word bespoke, but it came out a lot in Brexit. But on the heel, yeah, you've got that. It looks stenciled, but it looks like it's been, done not quite perfectly. But I think that's a deliberate effect. I don't think that's that's an accident, shall we say? So like I said at the top of this video, an awful lot of detailing has gone into these Air Force Ones. Even though from afar they look very, very simple, the detailing in each specific place and the number of places is quite immense, and it's quite an interesting looking sneaker. And if we draw back and have a look at the whole thing in total, the pebbled leather effect on there just adds a final piece of quality and a nice touch to this, what I think is actually a really cracking sneaker. I love sneakers that look simple at first glance, but when you dig into them and get a bit deeper, they look a lot cooler and there's a lot more going on there. It's like there's a story being told by the sneaker. It doesn't give us the answer to that question. Has Nike bought Sharpies? But it's kind of weird that 3 different sneakers over the last few weeks have had that Sharpie effect in full effect. So maybe there's something going on there. Now it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out my content. I don't think I remembered to shout out my Twitter account, which we're trying to grow right now, which is TokyoButter23. There's a link down below in the description. Please do search out TokyoButter23 on Twitter and give it a follow and help us boost that side of things. The Instagram side of things is doing pretty well for itself, but the Twitter needs a little bit of help. So doing that would be great. And one final thing is I talked about those links that will be there. Here's a link to a playlist full of the rarest sneakers in the world in hand. There's that playlist, and by having that there, you can see all the other links that were talked about earlier in the video, and you can go check out any one of those as is your want. But for now, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out my content. But as I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.